I just remember thinking, please, sir, I've never even gotten a B on my report card. I can't be in trouble. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jacy and I have another funny story time for you guys. So it's not about dating or getting fired. Instead, it's kind of just a miscellaneous one about the time I got detained at an airport for suspicious reasons. So if you like videos like this, if you like my story times or hanging out with me, make sure to like and subscribe. But let's just hop right into the video. So this story happened about 2 years ago. I was heading to Portland with my friend and we were flying out of our local airport. So not like LAX, it was kind of the airport down the street from my house, maybe about 15 to 20 minute drive. So it was early in the morning and I asked my brother to drive me to the airport. So all I was taking with me on this trip was one little carry-on suitcase. And just kind of an interesting fact was this was my first time doing a carry-on because my friend and I were just going to Portland for the weekend. All the trips that I had been on before this were like week-and-a-half long trips or extended stays where I always brought checked baggage. That's also because I use a lot of like hair products, so I always like to check in a bag so I don't have any limits on my liquids. So I was bringing a checked bag for the very first time, which was just kind of like new for me. So we load up the car and my brother's driving me to the airport. We get there in about 20 minutes and I'm the kind of person where I like to arrive to the airport very early just to make sure nothing is gonna go wrong, that I'm completely on time. So in true fashion, I arrive very early, but as I'm getting out of the car, my brother's literally waving bye to me. I have this epiphany where I'm like, wait, Chad, I don't think I have my ID. He's like, what are you talking about? So during this time, I was a regular at this one bar on Wednesday nights. And so I remember I had to take my ID and I left it in the shorts pocket that I was wearing a few nights before and I'd never put it back in my wallet. So luckily before he drove away, I was like, wait, I don't even have my ID because it was a domestic flight. I didn't have my passport. You just need your ID. And I didn't have it. So he was like, oh, all right, let's hop back in the car. Like we got to race to go get my ID. So now all of a sudden my anxiety is kind of rising because it's like, okay, I'm about to lose 45 minutes to an hour taking another trip back home and coming back to the airport. So I'm completely white knuckling it. I'm like looking at my brother like, it's a yellow light, drive through it, come on. So we get to my house, I get my ID, run back to the car and I was like, go, go, go. I even Google Maps the fastest way to get there even though it was the same route we always take because it's literally just one street down for like several miles. But I was like, okay, now I'm panicking because now I'm gonna be late, but it's okay. So we get to the airport and there's still plenty of time. I was freaking out for nothing. I was like, whew, okay, I'm glad we figured this out early. Thanks so much for making all these round trips for me. Adios, brother. So I get into the airport, and again, this is just our local airport, not a huge LAX type of place. And I'm still kind of like on edge because the anxiety and the adrenaline was still kind of going. So I get a text from my friend who's already like at the gate. She's like, hey, I'm here. And I was like, okay, like I'll be there in a little bit. I'm already here. So I go to security and this is kind of like where it all goes downhill. So we're going through security and I have like my backpack because I had like some tech equipment, you know, like my camera, my laptop, all that kind of stuff. So now I'm in security. I put my backpack through and I'm just kind of like chilling still with like a really high heart rate, you know, just hanging out. And I just hear everybody saying like, whose blue bag is this? Whose bag is this? And somebody taps me on the shoulder and I have a bag to demonstrate why I got confused. Was this guy go, excuse me, is this your bag? And I was like, no. And he was like, oh, I thought I saw you have it. And I was like, no, that's not my bag. And he was like, oh, okay. So then I continued through security and at the very end, like security guard goes, excuse me, was that your blue bag? And I was like, no, no, it wasn't. And so I put on my shoes, I start walking away, and then like at this point I had about like 45 minutes until my flight left. Plenty of time, my gate was like 5-minute walk away. So I start walking, I'm halfway there, and then again another epiphany and dread washes through me where I go, oh, my carry-on suitcase. So what had happened was, first of all, they kept calling it a bag, which was throwing me off because it was like a suitcase. It was like a wheelie carry-on suitcase. Like it wasn't a bag to me. Reason number two why I got confused was I never bring a carry-on. Again, I always just bring a backpack or a purse. I totally forgot that I had a carry-on at that point. So what had happened was when I got to security, when I got to the conveyor belt, I had so many things to take out of my backpack. So you have to take out your laptop because it's a lithium battery. I had to take off my shoes, put my backpack on. So as I like kind of left my suitcase right there at the edge of the conveyor belt, I just forgot about it. And I kind of went through and was just chilling. So the reason why I brought this little bag out was because the guy who was saying like, excuse me, is that your bag? He was pointing to my bag with his fingers, but he was holding up a blue bag. So that's where I got confused. He goes, excuse me, is this your bag? Pointing to my suitcase directly to it, but holding up a blue bag. And I was like, no, that's not my bag. I have my backpack, sir. I don't know what you're talking about. So it was just like, I was stupid on just all different fronts, just super like, I guess just foggy headed because of all the anxiety of forgetting my ID and making sure I was gonna get there on time. Oh, I also forgot to mention, they had started announcing it over the loudspeakers at the airport. And again, this is a small airport, so you can do that. And over all the loudspeakers was like, will the owner of the blue bag come retrieve your items? And I was like, blue bag? My suitcase! Ugh, why'd they call it a bag? It's my fault, but that's why I was so confused. So I go back to security, I tap the guy on the shoulder who had was the one who initially said like, is this your bag? And I was like, excuse me, I left my bag, it was mine. And he goes, I knew it was yours, what's going on here? That's when it kind of hits me that, oh golly, this looks suspicious. I had left a bag there, everybody saw me leave a bag there, and then I denied it to everybody and walked away. How obviously suspicious is that? So he goes, all right guys, we found her, calls people like on the loudspeaker. I was like, okay, we need to go like detain you and look through your bag. And so now I'm just panicking because I've never been in trouble. I don't like being in trouble. And I was like, oh God, I'm gonna get arrested. What's going on here? So they take me back to this little room and it was like this tiny, almost like what you see in like police shows where it looks like an interrogation room. They plop my carry-on on top of the table and open it up and just start going through it. And I know they're not gonna find anything, but I'm just trying to reassure them like, I'm sorry, I just forgot that I brought a carry-on suitcase. And they're like, that's an awful alibi, that's an awful story. What do you do forgets their suitcase? And I'm just like, please, sir, my flight's gonna be leaving soon. So during this whole time, they're going through my bag, they're rifling through everything. I think at one point they brought in a dog, but they had already searched through all of it, that like the dog was too late, so they didn't find anything. So at that point, I'm just kind of like chatting with the guard saying like, I'm sorry, I'm just so like scatterbrained, I'm just trying to make this flight. And he goes, okay, like we understand, you seem like a good kid, don't worry about it. So at this point, I'm just checking my phone, I'm checking my watch, and my friend is like, our flight's boarding, like we need to go, like I'm gonna leave without you. Luckily, just to kind of like tie all this up, I was able to get my suitcase back, kind of run the 5-minute walk that it would have been to our gate, and we were the very last people to board the flight. Now, they didn't wait for me by any means. It was just pure luck that I was able to get out of that detainment so quickly. Oh, but it was so stressful, and I'm glad I didn't get any like points on my record. I don't know, but I just thought it was so wild how just because I got super scatterbrained from forgetting my ID, that I forgot I brought a whole freaking suitcase to bring on the plane. So kind of wild, kind of wild. But that is just my quick story time of how I got detained on an airplane. I was gonna make a TikTok about this, but 1 minute wasn't long enough of a time, but I didn't need some super extended video format to kind of go through it all. I just wanted to share with you that funny story time because you guys seem to like these. If you do like these kind of story times, make sure to check out some of my previous ones. I recently did a story time about how I got fired. That was a longer one, but the detail is really important and that one's pretty funny. So make sure to check that out. Also make sure to just like and subscribe, come hang out with us. I got lots of other fun story times, so let me know if you guys are interested in those. But I thank you guys so much for watching. Again, just clicking on my video means so much to me. So I appreciate you all, and I will see you next time. Toodles! Every time I make a story time, I feel like I'm just creating more inside jokes for our channel. So like, feel free to comment on future videos like, don't forget your blue bag, or like, is this your blue bag? And I'll just laugh. Anytime you bring up blue bag from now on, I'll just laugh. So, it's just weird.